Welcome to another edition of Great Health, Abundant Happiness, and Outrageous Love, where we help people live their best lives. What a great day today. We first day of the new year.
Happy New Year, everyone. Happy 2020.
Yeah, we just kind of took it easy this morning. Had a great night with friends last night, and today was just a day all about us.
We made it to midnight.
Yeah. Yeah, sometimes we don't. Out here in Colorado, sometimes we may watch the ball fall in New York City, which is 10 here, and then that's it.
But we actually were out and about listening to some great music after a dinner party with some friends, and it was awesome.
Yeah.
So speaking of the new year.
Yeah, the new year will, I guess one of the most popular New Year's resolutions is to lose weight and just become more healthier overall, right?
Right.
Yeah. So we thought we'd do this video to kind of help share some of the things that we've learned and what we're doing. So, Karen, this is your area. I mean, we really have a solution, right?
We do. We have a foolproof solution. And, the only thing that I'll say is that if you are willing to follow through and willing to make this change, then continue watching. If you want to lose the weight and be healthier without making the change, then this video is definitely not for you.
Right. Well, you need to say that because it's funny. I think we said this in another video, but someone had sent me a little cartoon. There were two windows for solutions. One was lifestyle changes, and no one was in line. The other one was, take a pill and a massive line. So, Karen, you bring up a good point. So you're going to go through a couple steps. I mean, what is step one?
So, step one is setting that intention. So if you're still here, you're obviously very committed to finding a solution to increase your overall health, which for some people that does include losing weight. Unfortunately, here in the United States, for most people, that includes losing some weight. But we have ways that you can lose weight without really, I don't want to say being on a weight loss type diet, and increase your overall health, which is the most important thing. And so step one is being here and committing to your intention.
Setting that intention. What that really means when you set an intention, you obviously have to believe that you're going after something, and you have to set that intention that you're going to go get it done, and you actually have to visualize it, at the end game. And let's just say if you're committing to 30 days, 90 days for the year, whatever it is, you've got to set that intention and, be ready to follow through.
Exactly. And I like to think of things that we do for ourselves, especially, for our health and well-being, instead of calling it a New Year's resolution, because then it's something that, it's just for New Year's. This should be a New Year's gift to yourself. So you're not going to return this gift. You are going to take this gift and give it to yourself, and you're going to work on that all year on your health. And so step is to write it down, and step one was to set the intention you're here. Step 2 is to write it down. Step 3 is tell all of your close peeps so that they can help you with your goal. Sometimes you feel like you're getting sabotaged, and a lot of times that's because people don't know that you have a plan in place. And so let's say they're inviting you over. If they are not clear that you have a plan in place, they may be serving something that is not going to benefit your overall health. So you really need to write it down and tell all your peeps. So what I want you to do right now is to write down that you are committed to your overall health and doing what it takes to put yourself in the best possible situation. Whatever words you want to put forth, do that. Write it in the comments below. Write it down right now. Something that I like to use is, I am committed to fulfill my intention. I only put things in my body that provide my body with the ultimate nutrition. So again, I am committed to fulfill my intention. I only put things in my body that provide my body with the ultimate in nutrition. I'm going to say it one more time. Again, write down in the comments below whatever words work for you. It has to be in a positive format. The word not can't be in there because the universe doesn't recognize that word. Again, we're working on intentions. So I am committed to fulfill my intention. I only put things in my body that provide my body with the ultimate in nutrition. Write it down.
I like it. I like it. And so then step 4 is basically you only eat whole foods, plant-based items.
Right. So step 4 is that's where the results, the real results that you're going to see come from. And so that's setting the plan to achieve the goal. Okay, so you have to go through the first 3 steps to get to step 4, or you're just going to set a plan that's going to fail. Because if you have not written it down, committed to yourself and written it down and told your peeps, you know, it's not going to happen, because this is, this is a life-changing, in a very positive way, a life-changing procedure. And so, you know, as Jeffrey said, whole food, plant-based for 30 days.
Well, let's talk about that, because that's a term that I had to learn. You know, what is, Karen, whole food, plant-based? So what does that mean?
So whole food, plant-based means exactly what those words are, but because it's become such a, you know, an acronym, or a, you know, for, you know, lack of better words, a lot of people don't know what it really means. So what that means is any type of vegetables, any type of fruits, anything that is not processed. So this does not mean necessarily something that is vegan versus whole food, plant-based. We will talk about a vegan, you know, diet later as we get to the next few steps. But I think in order to start the initiative, you must make it as simple as possible. And if you just say, I'm going to go vegan instead of whole food, plant-based, well, Oreos are vegan, and Cheerios are vegan, and a lot of breads are vegan. Pasta's vegan. But all of those things are against what we said earlier, which is I am only going to put things in my body that provide me with the ultimate in nutrition. So taking all the guesswork out of it, that means anything that's going to your produce aisle, anything that's along that produce wall with the misters, and I'm not talking about the first or second case that has, you know, all of the, you know, goodies that aren't really good for you. So talking about fresh fruits and fresh vegetables. And I like to stick with mostly fresh vegetables, and maybe have fruit that you, like one piece of fruit for after each of your meals as a dessert, to sort of get that, you know, sweet craving. And so this means that you're going to be cutting out all sugars as well, which is something that I am very much, you know, pro cutting out sugar, because it is such a cancer-causing and cancer-feeding item.
Yeah, it's not great for you. I mean, you get fruit sugars, obviously, in fruit.
Right.
And I just want to say one thing, too, as a clarifier. You're saying fresh vegetables. That's fine, but obviously frozen, because we keep a lot of frozen vegetables in the house.
We do.
Flash frozen vegetables are just as good as, you know, buying an organic broccoli. When we go down the aisle, if organic broccoli doesn't look good, we go buy frozen organic broccoli, which is just as good. So they flash freeze it, right?
Right. And also because we do travel so much, and, you know, a lot of you are busy. You've got kids that you're taking care of. So sometimes you don't have time to run to the grocery store. So you always want to make sure that you have foods that will fit into the 30-day commitment of whole food,
Right.
plant-based eating. So stock up in the freezer section so that you don't come home from, taking your kids somewhere or from a trip and you don't have anything to eat.
Right.
And the other thing that's another a great food item to keep in your house are spaghetti squash, because they last a really long time. So you can, have a few of those, and that is one of my favorite foods. They're super, super healthy for you, and really low in calories, but they've got some great vitamins and minerals to take care and nourish
Right.
your body. And they are going to contribute to this process. And what's wild is when this happens, your body starts to naturally go where it's supposed to. And the excess bloat and all of that falls off because you're no longer having the hormones and the antibiotics that
Right.
are in some animal, most animal products. So go to your grocery store, go down the produce aisle, and go down the frozen food aisle, and also go down the spice aisle, because you know what? You want to have food that tastes delicious
Right.
to you. So depending on what your spices, interests are, and again, in the fresh, you can get fresh
Right.
basil and fresh dill. All those herbs are really good for you. But if you like spicy, we're really
Right.
big. We put cayenne pepper.
Hey,
on
the
it.
other thing, I'm going to
We're
add a
big
couple more aisles here. This is really your realm. You've taught me all this, but as you're going
Yeah.
through this, you're kind of forgetting.
Right.
We got nuts and seeds. You got to go down that aisle too, right? You've
Right.
got nuts and seeds, and also we go down through. I was going to say the canned goods. Now we're really using boxed whenever we can, but beans, legumes, that kind of stuff, right? Why don't you talk about that a little bit?
Right. So, and I was going to leave that for the next segment, but just to make it easy on everyone. But that's a great point, Jeffrey. Seeds and nuts are really, really great for you. Obviously, you don't want them to be the main source of your diet, that you're only eating those items. So the main source of your intake should be from vegetables.
Right.
And I tell people when you're first starting out, because you do have sort of a surge in hunger when you first start out, eat as many vegetables, fresh vegetables and frozen vegetables. Eat as many as you want. I mean, don't count calories. Don't think about any of that with the vegetables. Now, when it comes to seeds and nuts, what I love to do is, limit myself on a daily basis, and maybe you take it out into a, separate container or baggies, something like that. 1 ounce of seeds and or nuts, and use that in your meals, whether you're making a stir fry or whether you're making a salad and you want to put seeds and nuts on it. And if you're doing a stir fry, don't use oils for this first 30 days. Most oils are processed foods, so again, we want to stick with whole food, plant-based items. Water works great. You can also get a steamer. If you want to venture past that, you can get some broths. If you can find an organic broth, like a mushroom broth that, again, you're getting back to the processed
Right.
items. So I prefer not putting those in
Right.
in the beginning.
I guess this is where, Karen's really, really hardcore about this. I'll use olive oils when I'm making stir fries and things like that. And I guess the one thing I'd say is if we're trying to, if you're trying to move over and actually make this happen, it's not easy at first. Karen's talking
Right.
about the hunger issues. I had a challenge in the beginning. I think a lot of it's psychological, by the way, the hunger issues, because you've been years.
Yeah,
I've probably been a couple of years. I've been probably a couple of years at this.
Mm-hmm.
But I'll tell you, as we had put in the tagline, you want to lose like 10 or 15 pounds, you go over to this program. Me personally, once I finally started moving over, when I just dropped dairy, I dropped 12 pounds, and
That
I think
was
it
huge.
was like 2 weeks,
Yeah.
maybe 3 weeks. But
You
I couldn't
didn't
believe it.
realize that
But
it
yeah.
was the weight was coming off, and all of a sudden we had to go buy you all new pants.
Yeah.
And nothing fit.
Right.
And you're right, it was a really rapid happening. And
just dropping dairy.
yeah, but I have to say, it wasn't, and this is so important. This is not just about weight loss. This is about overall health, okay? Yeah. And so Jeffrey always had terrible allergies, terrible. And when you dropped the dairy, that went away.
Yeah, allergies went away, and even like the common cold and flus. I mean, I wasn't sick a lot, but at the end,
But if the flu went through, you never stayed home, but you always would get a touch of it. And I think a lot of that was because of, the allergy issues that you had. Once you gave up dairy, that was just wiped out from your life.
The issue is, we tend to, even before we went down this path, we'd go to Whole Foods and we'd buy organics and non-GMOs and all that stuff. So I think it's better than most. But we're out with friends, and if you're not conscious about this stuff, and think twice about you're eating a pizza, you're eating nachos with cheese, everything with cheese on it. If you kind of go through your list, when I have these conversations with people, they say, well, I really don't eat much dairy. But when you start going through, you just don't think about it. It's in a lot of different things. So when you start thinking this way, you start making healthier choices. But to your point, I didn't do this for weight loss. That was just something that happened along with it. It was all about health.
Exactly. Right? And the weight loss was just a byproduct of your body releasing all of that. And dairy tends to build up mucus. So if you do have allergies or skin conditions, getting rid of dairy is such a benefit for you. So do that. And there are some really great alternatives. You can actually make your own nut milks from, and again, this would be whole food, plant-based eating, because you're going to make it from almonds, or you can make it from oats. That's a really great alternative as well. Or you can just give it up completely for the first 30 days. Yeah. Whatever you need to do to make this simple. And,
And I'm sorry to interrupt, but you don't have to make your own milk. So all that stuff is in the, the dairy section now. Actually, I was just reading something the other day, like the oat milks are taking over. I mean, in many dairy cases, they're replacing a lot of the dairy milk. So they have almond milks, they have soy milks, they have coconut milks, they have. And if do this when you go out, if you haven't done this yet, I was with another friend a couple weeks ago on a trip, and I'm like, I was buying him a coffee, a latte. I said, what do you want? You want non-dairy? What do you mean non-dairy? I said, there's coconut milks, and really? I had no idea. So we fixed him up with plant-based milk, and he's like, man, this is just as good as the dairy milk. I said, yeah, that's what I'm trying to tell you. It's a hell of a lot better for you too. So
exactly. So if getting a coffee is your thing. We're huge coffee drinkers, but we tend to drink ours black, so that's never an issue. But if you enjoy the art of going out and getting a coffee, get it with a milk alternative. My big I don't want to say concern is that there are a lot of options out there, even though they're plant-based, that aren't healthy. So read your labels. I mean, there's some plant-based milks that have sugar in them. Obviously, that's not going to be a good choice. There's plant-based milks that have added ingredients that are unhealthy. And again, not a good choice. That's why I love the thought of, making things. And Nora Cooks is a great website. She has some amazing recipes for these things. Or just Google how to make, or YouTube, how to make oat milk.
Well, there's a lot of great videos on that. I'm going to have Karen start putting some of the recipes out here, and we're going to start doing some videos on some of the dishes that she's making. We generally have people over that, the guys are like, I could never do that. And, we give them a full-blown vegan meal, and they're like looking at each other on the way out of here like, I could live like this. I could do this.
Well, we had dinner with a bunch of couples last night, and one of the couples had come over for dinner, and he's a big foodie, right? I mean, he knows great restaurants and really enjoys that. And, he brought up the meal that I made again, and it was very complimentary, made me feel really great. And the fact that he's still talking about it so many months later, you can make amazing, and that was a spaghetti squash meal. You can make amazing meals with whole foods. And so step 4 is to, that you set this plan that I am only going to eat whole food, plant-based for 30 days. Write it in the comment below and tag your peeps so that they know to support you, so that if you're going to their house, that they have something for you. Or if you are going to somebody's house, it's perfectly fine to let them know that, hey, I'm eating whole food plant-based right now, and I don't want to impose, so I'm going to be bringing a whole food plant-based, platter over to share. And a lot of times people say, oh, don't worry about that, I'll prepare something for you. I would still always bring something, because I'm not sure if that person knows exactly what whole food plant-based is. And I think it's such a beautiful way to share something healthy and nutritious with people that you care about.
Absolutely. So before you go to the last and final step that we have in this video, I just have to reiterate it again, because most people are, I guess, one of the largest or one of the most common New Year's resolution is to lose weight and be more healthful. Mm-hmm. So the healthful thing is what we're talking about here, but you do happen to lose weight. Karen touched on it, but if you go to a whole foods plant-based diet, I guarantee it, you don't have to do any extra working out, any of that. Your body will automatically go back to where it's supposed to be. Right. And generally that's, think like where you were in high school. I mean, that's, I'm kind of back to my high school weight, and that kind of happened just because. And, we're not going to any gym, we're not working out, we do stay active. We hike and ski and swim and all that stuff. But we are not, fitness buffs. I mean, at all. So it's just
we're not gym rats. For sure.
I don't. And that's not what I want to do. I mean, it's if I can just eat healthful and clean out my my insides, and we have all the blood tests, and our annual physicals and the numbers to prove it, that it's the way to go. Trust me.
We are healthier now than we've ever been, and I like to think that we've always been healthy, but the numbers and the blood tests, there's proof in the pudding right there. Right. And like Jeffrey said, the weight naturally comes off, and you go to where your body should be if you eat this way. And again, pasta is not a plant-based food. Bread is not a plant-based food. Oreos, not plant-based. So stick with the produce aisle and stick with the frozen vegetables, and grab some fruits too. I might add that berries are phenomenal. So there's very little sugar in berries, and please buy organic berries, because they tend to, if you get conventional and there's pesticides on them, they tend to get concentrated, especially in strawberries or raspberries or blackberries. So buy organic. I buy organic everything, because I feel that I'm worth it. And I think you're worth it too. So spend a few extra dollars, maybe buy a little bit less. But I promise you'll spend less on your health care if you're buying organic, healthy, whole foods, plant-based whole foods, and fresh fruits, right?
Right. So the last step, step 5, final step.
Final step is wishing you great health.
Oh no, commit to a lifelong.
Sorry.
That's right.
Commit to a lifelong process of eating healthful foods. So again, you're starting in step 4 with the 30 days. And then what I like to do is tell people, after the 30 days, let's talk, because now you can add some other things in that, I like to stick in the first 30 days with simple. So don't eat the tofu, don't have the, vegan cheeses or the Beyond Meats or any of these things. Forget about all those things. But they can be added into a healthy way of life in certain ways. And we'll talk about that after you get through this first 30 days. But again, step 5, as Jeffrey said, is to commit to this as a lifelong thing. When I first started, I said I'm going to do it for 1 year and I'm going to see how I feel. And at the end of the year, I felt so amazing. I had more energy than I've ever had. And, I used to go to sleep and I'd wake up and I had this weird buzzing feeling and I was really tired. And all of that has gone away.
Mm-hmm.
And, I know with you, I watched it happen. All of your allergy symptoms went away. So, commit to this as a lifelong step. So, reach out to us with any questions. We are so excited to take anyone on this whole food plant-based journey with us, and we will support you. I'll give you my text. You can text me if you have any questions, or comments or anything like that, or if you want cooking tips. And we are here to support you, because too many people make this New Year's resolution and it's just that.
Right.
Another New Year's resolution. Make it a gift to yourself. You owe it to yourself. You deserve it.
Yeah.
Right?
If we can drag one more person along.
Yeah. And hit that subscribe button.
It's over here,
It's
right?
over there.
Yeah. Yeah. Down on the right side of your screen, but
Yeah.
I guess that's right there.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Yeah. Wishing you great health, abundant happiness, and outrageous love from the nest at Copper Mountain.
All right, guys. Until next time.